All right, y'all. So I want to hit y'all with a little story today. So, um, me and I want to talk about anime for a little bit. So, me and anime, we have an interesting relationship. Go kind of way back, kind of sort of. So, um, you know, it started off in the days of when I was potentially maybe in elementary school, maybe in middle school. A lot of people had got their start, you know, watching anime and they were pretty much hooked from there. It wasn't so much that for me. Um, when I started off watching anime, the only thing I can really recall, things plural, is that I used to watch Dragon Ball Z and stuff like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Uh, Rest in peace to the creator of that right there. Um, but anyways, I started off at a young age. Um, not too young, but I was at that age where I didn't really know what anime was. Whereas if I saw it, I wouldn't really be able to identify it all that well. Like I obviously I knew what the shows were. Like I knew what Naruto was, right? And I wasn't all the also I wasn't as into Naruto as you know I have been in the past couple years. Um, but yeah, it all started back. I say maybe in middle school, possibly. And I remember, I grew up. Me and my brother, right? Me and my brother, we grew up with um, primarily it was Adult Swim slash Toonami, right? Me and him, we indulged a lot of stuff from Toonami. And that was around that time of the day where you shouldn't have been up in the first place. Now, me and my brother, like I said, we were in middle school, and we were still into the whole cartoon game and everything. Everybody was watching their own cartoons and stuff like that. It's Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, the Toon Disney, back when it was a thing. Real 2000 shit, right? But yeah, so me and him, we were staying up a lot later. Well, we should have been. Our primary source of cartoons was mainly Cartoon Network. I love me some Cartoon Network, some Ed, Edd and Eddie, some Chowder, Billy and Mandy, just a whole list of stuff that I can't even name right now, right? Um, and we were heavy into Cartoon Network. Nickelodeon was cool. We caught SpongeBob every now and then, and some other stuff that used to come on. But well, we were mainly Cartoon Network. So me and Braxton, uh, me and my brother, we would stay up late. Probably shouldn't have, but that's what we would do. And yeah, we were some night owls once upon a time. My brother more so than I was, but I'm more of a night owl nowadays than he is. It's an interesting switch. But yeah, so we stayed up a little bit later than what we should have, obviously. Um, and then after a certain point in time, Cartoon Network would go off. I don't know if any of you remember this. Any of my '90s babies remember this, which it probably still does this because Adult Swim is still a thing, obviously. Um, So after a certain point in time at night, Cartoon Network would run its last show for the night, and then the the title card would come up and be like, "All right, y'all, it's time to go to bed." That was basically them telling us, "Hey, y'all, it's time to go to sleep." So go to sleep. When in reality, I feel like it might have been kind of them pushing us, to persuading us. They was just like, "Hey, y'all, just letting y'all know, Make sure your parents ain't around or something like that. It just felt like that, right? But after Cartoon Network would go off, Adult Swim would come on. And I don't know why my brother, he was so into Adult Swim. I mean, I was too, but um him more so than me. Because every time Adult Swim would come on, Family Guy would come on. And that is not my favorite show to watch. It's everywhere. I think it's all right, but I just felt like it was always in my face all the time. So it wasn't really my thing to begin with. My brother, he loves him some Family Guy. Like he probably watched every episode since who knows, since it started airing, which we weren't really, old enough for the first couple episodes, but I'm sure it reran at some point. Family Guy, Robot Chicken was wild. Robot Chicken just, y'all, it's stop motion gore. Can y'all imagine that? It was just the stop motion animation kind of like skit cartoon kind of mix where it was like real edgy jokes, and it was actually sometimes it was pretty funny, but I was just like, bro, I can't keep watching this. It's not good for my little adolescent mind. But anyways, yeah, that would come on, and sometimes they would interchange. And, other stuff on Adult Swim would come on, like Metalocalypse and Squidbillies and all the other stuff that I didn't really mess with. I'm sure there are a lot of people that like Metalocalypse, but anyways, Adult Swim would come on. A few shows would air, get all that stuff out of the way, stuff like that. And then Adult Swim would go off momentarily, if I remember correctly. Adult Swim would turn off, right? Also, I don't remember anybody remember this, but Pee Wee's Playhouse used to come on, well, right before, which I'm assuming maybe that was them, kind of saying, all right, here's something for the kids, so y'all can go to sleep. But yeah, yeah, pretty much after that would come on. I remember it to this day. Pretty much after Adult Swim would go off, and I feel like I remember it sometimes interchanging, but I feel like it. I think Toonami used to come on like right before Adult Swim sometimes, and other times it would switch it to Adult Swim coming on first. But anyways, Adult Swim went off. Toonami would come on, and the only things I can remember from Toonami is Naruto, Dragon Ball Z primarily, Inuyasha. I'm pretty sure I said Naruto, and maybe some older shows would come on. But we primarily recognize Dragon Ball Z, so that's what we would catch, And then pretty much after whatever day that was that we first started watching Toonami, we just constantly, like every night, we started. Oh yeah, and Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo used to come on there too. Those are classics right there. But yeah, yeah, and ever since then, I mean, I didn't realize that I had that kind of feelings for anime because I didn't know what it was. I had no clue what it was when I was watching. I just thought it was regular cartoons. And then, a lot later, some years pass, and I'm in college, right? I'm in college. So, I'll say I didn't really do too much outside of watching cartoons. Didn't really watch any reality shows. Didn't really watch any live action shows except for like the basic Disney stuff and some Nickelodeon stuff. Wasn't really into Degrassi or anything like that. I was always catching cartoons. When I got to college, that was back basically my soft reintroduction back into anime. And I'll never forget it. What got me back into anime was the weirdest thing. and it was playing when I was, you know, when I was younger, when I was in elementary school, in middle school, and I completely almost missed that wave. So I pull up Netflix one day because I think, what was it, my sophomore year in college. Let me say, college was a different experience for me because I never did anything for real when I was back at home. I was one of those kids that didn't go out for real. I'd much rather spend it at home playing a game or something like that. Um, but yeah, I come to college, and I find out new things, I meet new people and stuff like that. But the isolation was different. Like, it was so crazy for me to go somewhere else to meet new people just for me to be stuck in my dorm all day watching cartoons, or playing a video game or on my phone all day. But that was what I'd much rather do. Now, I did have a buddy with me that I would go to his dorm and hang out with, until we started staying in the same dorms the next year. But I was primarily cool by myself. I'd order me some Domino's, start up whatever show or whatever I was watching, and boom, that was my setup. But yeah, so my first year in college wasn't really anything to write home about. I think, aside from being alone for the first time ever, you know, I didn't have a car. Didn't get my car until like my third year in college, right? So I was just kind of, what I'm saying, doing my own thing. Um, but I couldn't leave the campus, unless I knew somebody that had a car, which I didn't really. But it was just me, my freshman year. Um, and my freshman year kind of passed. My sophomore year came, and me and my buddy, we got together, and we were just like, hey, or our families were just like, hey, why don't y'all stay together this year? And I was just like, cool, that'd be convenient. And we were in band, by the way, so we were part of the college band. We came from the same high school or whatever. Um, but yeah, it was just like, yeah, let's get together, let's do that. And we would travel to and from the band room to from the football field when we were doing practice or whatever. We would do that stuff together, and that was cool. Then I can't remember what happened. I found out about this website. I kid you not. I was a little late. I was very late finding out about it. Found out about this website. Uh, well, first off, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, um, I first of all, I find out some things about my PS3. So there are only a few things I brought up to campus with me, electronically speaking, I guess. Or only a few things, anyways. I brought my laptop, my purple laptop that I used to do all my homework on when I was in high school. I brought a little TV for me to watch stuff on. They had a little cable to kind of hook it up to the campus cable or whatever. And what else did I have? Obviously, my phone. Duh. Um, I had me a printer, some clothes or whatever, a refrigerator, and I had my PS3. Oh, and also I had a DVD player. This if I felt like watching DVDs. This was back when DVDs were. Still cool to watch. Nowadays they're kind of eh. Um, but yeah. So I had my PS3, and that was my only source of playing games. It's the only thing that I had that I could play games on. Didn't take the PS4 with me. I left that back at home because that was basically everybody's PS4. So, um, yeah, so I took the PS3, and I pretty much only played maybe San Andreas, maybe Grand Theft Auto 4, a little bit of that, and pretty much after that, I found out I didn't know these things, right? When I get to my second semester, or my second year in college, me and him are staying together. The little thing that I didn't know about, that I wasn't too hip with. See, the streaming service game had just started, right? It just got off the ground running. I feel like, kind of, sort of, not really, but um, it was there. It was a thing. Um, so I find out that I have Netflix on. Not only do I have YouTube that is accessible on my PS3, but I also have Netflix. So I hooked up my Netflix account, my mom's Netflix account that everybody uses, so quickly. I did that so fast, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Because I had no idea that the PS3 was capable of streaming, because I didn't know about streaming for real. I didn't even know what the heck it was for real, kind of, sort of. But there were only a few of those like Netflix at that point. Then there was Hulu. Um, I didn't know where it was accessible. Thought it was just on the phone or on anywhere. I don't know where else it would have been. I just knew it was on your phone, but or on a Fire Stick back when those were big. Roku sticks are still big too, but we didn't have those. We didn't have those luxuries then. But yeah, so I get on Netflix. I'm just like, okay, I see, got some stuff on here. Back when Friends. Now I know what everybody's gonna say about Friends. Oh, it's not a good. They talk all that crap about Friends, and I'm just like, hey, listen, we like what we like. Leave me alone. I enjoy watching Friends. Honestly, I go back to watch Joey and Chandler though. Those are my favorite two characters. But anyways, that's what I was watching. And I was the type of person that I was always leaving the TV on at night because I felt like I needed some background noise to fall asleep to. Because I've never liked going to sleep in the dark. That's just me. I used to have night terrors as a kid for sleeping in the dark. I'm not scared of it now, but it's just something that I do. So I just have to hear something running in the background. So I scroll on Netflix, watch Friends, watch whatever else is on there. And then I don't remember what happened. I found out Naruto was on there. I'm just like, dang, Naruto? Man, I've never watched Naruto at that point. Like, up to that point, never watched a single, maybe like a couple episodes, but never the entire series. Now, Netflix, as y'all know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows how Netflix works. When you get on, right, you scroll through stuff, and they have these kind of previews, and they just automatically play. You don't really have control over them, at least on TV, anyways. Not on the phone, but on TV, it's a different story. When you scroll through stuff, and it just starts playing. The first episode of Naruto just started going, right, and I didn't stop it. I didn't stop it. I was just like, hey, let's see what this is about. Never did I think that I would be stuck in a hole and would never be able to get out of it. Pause. Ugh. But anyways, that first episode really just like grappled me for some reason. Like, obviously, I guess the first episode of Naruto is always a classic, but just, I don't know, something about it. When I first watched that first episode, I was just on kind of autopilot in a way. Because honestly, I don't think I was able to enjoy the series the first time around. I was just letting it play. Um, I had to go back and watch the series again to kind of digest everything. Pause again. Um, but yeah, I had to watch it again just to kind of get a feel on how I felt about it. But my first time around, I'm just kind of binge watching, and sometimes I just let it play, and then I go to sleep, and I wake up and I might be a few episodes ahead, and then I'll go back to whatever episode I fell asleep to and watch it again, and make me some food or something like that. So I mean, I go to class, come back, do homework, turn on Naruto, make me something to eat, bing bang boom, and then I got to the end, which I thought was the end. But then I found out. I was just like, hang on. This can't be the end. Now there was only like 100 or so episodes of Naruto on Netflix at the time. Netflix is notorious for not having all the episodes of something. Or they used to be anyways. They still kind of are. Like there was a long time before I could watch all of Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, Naruto wasn't fully on there. I'm just like, well, how am I supposed to watch all of this if y'all don't have everything on there? Or they didn't have all the dub episodes or something like that. I can't remember. I feel like they didn't have the entire series though. I feel like they didn't. So I was just like, bro, what do I do next? And then I forget who told me, because my brother originally, I thought he was the plug for that kind of stuff, but it wasn't him. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was my roommate or what. I found out this magical website that I'm sure some anime watchers are aware of, called Kiss Anime, and I just did not know there were websites like this. Now, fair enough, I knew there were websites like this. Obviously, pirating wasn't a new thing. People could go and watch movies wherever they wanted to on the internet sometimes. All you have to do is just wait a little bit after the movie comes out so it can come out in the highest resolution. So you ain't got to go to the movie and waste your money on something that might be bad. Or, people just want to sit up and relax and watch movies at home. Blah, blah, blah. Kiss Anime was basically that, but for anime. And man, so after I got through those episodes of Naruto, and I switched over to Kiss Anime, I was back to binge watching, and I kept watching, and I don't remember when exactly it was, but I just kind of sort of branched off, just started watching random stuff. I remember that too. I just was watching random things. I wasn't really even, you know, I don't know how I got from there to there. Like, one of the anime that I branched off to watch, I don't know if y'all heard of it, but it's called Shuffle. And it's one of those like old romantic comedies, like, but it wasn't a romantic, it was I think it was, but it wasn't. It was more of a uh supernatural type deal. So it might have had a hint of romantic comedy stuff in it, but it was a weird one. But I kind of enjoyed it. I don't remember much from it, but that was an interesting break from, anything else I've ever seen. And that's the thing about anime. It's always some kind of surprising factor, whether it's good or bad, but it'll surprise you nonetheless. And I was just like, wow, there's really something out here like this. I'd never seen anything like that. And yeah. Um so I started branching out heavy too. While I was watching Naruto, mind you, I watched Shuffle. I watched Clanad. I watched Future Diary. Future Diary was a crazy um anime for me, in that well, I think that might have been one of my first gory anime ever watching, that I've ever watched. Future Diary was wild. Wasn't feeling the ending. I was kind of upset by that, but it is what it is. I moved on with my life. But um yeah, so that happened. I watched it. Higurashi, when they cry, or what's called when the cicadas cry, or whatever. I'm sure y'all seen it. The scene with the girl getting her fingernails ripped off. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know. Um, and dang, it's just so much that I was watching then. And yeah, like I said, all I was watching Naruto, and I was watching that stuff, and then I finally get to the end of Naruto, and I'm just like, oh shoot, I got more to watch, because I knew that Naruto had grown up. I just never seen any of those episodes until I started watching it. And I got into Shippuden and I found out it's like 500 episodes. Now, mind you, I was into it kind of while it was airing. So I didn't really fully know that it was 500 episodes. I just knew that it was going to be around that because I would kind of scroll and see how many episodes there were of the actual show. The sub obviously it was gonna be farther along, and it was around like the 400 mark, I think, by the time I got up there. Um, or not by the time I got up there, but it was a lot of episodes basically, but I was all for it. So I was just binge watching Shippuden, um, and I enjoyed the Naruto journey. I really did. Like Shippuden was a longer journey, but and with more filler episodes, but it was cool. It was fine. Um, and sometimes I would kind of skip the fillers and everything. I don't think I actually skipped any fillers the first time around. I watched all the fillers the first time, but then afterwards, I kind of skipped through that stuff because whatever. Wasn't really a fan of filler episodes unless they were actually good, which I didn't know any good filler episodes at that point. Yeah, but I got through that. Um, and what else? What else? Well, I didn't get through it. Like I say that like I got through it immediately. I was kind of watching Shippuden for a while. I got through a lot of the major stuff happening, like um, the whole Pain arc was wild. Um, and whole arc where Sasuke was just mowing through everybody, just thought he was that dude. And then we finally got to when the fourth Great Ninja War was declared and blah blah blah. Fast forward, I got through all that, and it was like the first experience of a war arc that I've ever had. And I really like Naruto's war arc. I do wish there were a few things different, but for the most part, I think it was pretty good. And I before I realized it, before I realized where I'd ended up. Now this is the third year in college. We're not staying on campus anymore. We're um we're in apartments at this point, right? And um my sister, she had a PS4, right? And um I found out that PS4s have web browsers. And on those web browsers, you can go on websites properly, like an actual computer. And I was just like, can I go on my website? Can I go on Kiss Anime? And lo and behold, Kiss Anime was there. And it would run pretty dang good. I will say that. And sometimes, I was kind of off and on. I would watch Kiss Anime on the PS4 or I'd watch it on my phone. So obviously, I'd wait until she like went to class or went to work or whichever one. But that's generally how I was kind of watching stuff. I was kind of back and forth, and I was watching stuff like Toradora and and Nisekoi and man and Food Wars. I was just on everything. I don't know if y'all ever watched Seto Kai Yaku Indomo. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's just called the Student Council, something like that. The Student Council. But it's pretty dang funny. But yeah, I was watching that, and I was watching a bunch of other stuff at the time. And I finally finished what I thought. Well, I thought I was pretty close to the end, but I realized that I was nowhere close to the end. So Shippuden, um, Shippuden kind of was in a weird place. So if I remember correctly, by the time I finally caught up with Shippuden, I think the sub had finally ended. Either the sub had ended, the Japanese sub had ended, or um, the war arc had ended, and they were just in the end game type stuff. I can't remember, but the sub was pretty far ahead. The dub, however, the dub I think was about 100 episodes or so behind, because by the time I catch up, it might have been a little less than 100 episodes, but by the time I catch up, I'm on like episode 400 and something, 400 and something. Now, the arc before whatever episode I stopped on was basically, and this is what kind of painted filler arcs in a bad light for me. I'll never forget it. That filler arc from Shippuden, that's part of that war arc right there. And I'm not talking about the one with the infinite Tsukuyomi. I'm not talking about that one. That filler arc with the infinite Tsukuyomi, or before the infinite Tsukuyomi, like right before that, where, well, maybe it was during the infinite Tsukuyomi. Yeah, no, maybe that was during that. It's kind of hard to discern. But there was an arc where it wasn't even the infinite Tsukuyomi. It was a flashback between the times that Naruto was gone and Naruto came back to the village to train with Jiraiya. And it was an arc about the Chunin exams before he came back. I'm just like, bro, it wasn't, to sum up, it wasn't all that good. The only highlight I feel like personally was Lee's fight with this other dude that we're probably not going to see again. Um, Aside from that, I just felt like it was unnecessary. Anyways, there was a whole filler arc of that, and I hated it. I really did. What I really hated though was the episode that ended that arc had been the latest episode to date. Now, now that meant I was done with episodes for that week. I caught up unknowingly. Didn't even realize it until I was out of episodes to watch in dub, mind you. Sub, caught up. Dub, no. Dub, I think, was about 70 or 80 episodes behind the actual, like, sub. And I had to wait a while. I was just like, okay, well, I gotta wait next week for the next episodes. Not realizing that that stuff released in bulk over months. It took 3 months for about 12 or so episodes to come out in dub. To the point where I was just like, you know what, I'll just watch it in sub. So I basically watched all of it, all the rest of, 70, 80 episodes in sub, then went back, watched the rest in dub. It took months for that. Boruto had already started by the time Naruto had caught up. So I was just like, wow. Or Shippuden had caught up with the sub. The dub caught up with the stub. And yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I finally got through that. And I picked up a whole slew of other stuff. I actually started watching Boruto for a good minute, and I at first, first impressions, I was just like, yeah, it's cool. Obviously, we got to see it go somewhere, but Boruto's kind of in a weird place now, where I'm not sure how to talk about it. But it is what it is. Um, but yeah, just my journey in anime has been kind of an interesting one. I watched, excuse me, stuff that I never thought I watched. Um, I'd actually caught this anime called Shimonetta. If y'all ever seen that one, it's a doozy. I tell you, it's a wild one. Um, I've just started watching a bunch of out there type stuff. Um, what was another one? I just watched so much. Food Wars, I guess, was out there. I've watched every episode of Food Wars unapologetically. Um, and yeah, what else we got? I've been keeping up with a lot of stuff as of recent. Um, I got into My Hero like in the middle. Well, a little bit after I finished Naruto, actually, maybe like a year or so afterwards. My Hero is like, well, it was my favorite shonen at the time. Um, but yeah, I've watched so many shows, and it's crazy how far I've, you know, come with the whole anime thing. And now I'm in the manga, of all things. Hey, but reading is cool. I said that like a bad, like they would say in school or something like that. Like reading is fun. They would have that on like a bulletin board or have it all down the hallways if you're in elementary school or something, trying to persuade you to read. But anyways, that's my little story. Um, to be continued, maybe. Maybe I'll talk about my journey into anime a little bit more in depth because there's a lot of stuff that I've caught that I haven't mentioned, and some of them are bangers, some of them not so much. But gotta take the good with the bad sometimes. Anyways, this is my first video, and yeah, this is it's pretty cool to talk about this. But yeah, just let me know what you guys' first anime is, if you are an anime watcher indeed. And let me know if you guys want to see anything else from the channel. And yeah, that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.